All right, if you're in B2B sales or marketing, you know the deal. The pressure to grow is always on. But what if that old playbook, casting a super wide net and just hoping for the best, just isn't cutting it anymore? Well, today we're going to dig into a much smarter, more precise way to do things. Let's dive right in.
Okay, let's kick things off with a number that should really make you pay attention. A whopping 71% of companies that blow past the revenue goals have one thing in common. They have well-documented buyer personas. This isn't just some fluffy marketing exercise, folks. It's a proven playbook for winning.
And that really brings us to the core question every B2B team has to ask itself. Are you just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks? Or do you have a laser-focused, crystal-clear picture of the companies and, this is the important part, the people you're actually trying to reach? This is the trap so many companies fall into. Spray and pray. You know what I'm talking about. Sending those generic messages to huge, untargeted lists. It is just incredibly inefficient, it burns through your time and money, and honestly, it's what underperforming teams do. Today, we are building the escape plan.
So where do we even begin to build this smarter approach? You might think it starts with the people, but actually it doesn't. The real foundation is targeting the right companies first. You have to find the right organization before you can ever hope to find the right person inside it. And this is where things get tricky for a lot of people. You hear these terms all the time: ideal customer profile, or ICP, and buyer persona. People use them interchangeably, but they are completely different tools designed for totally different jobs. Getting this right is crucial.
An ICP is your filter. It's all about defining the perfect company for you. It's based on what we call firmographics. Stuff like their industry, how big they are, how much money they make, where they're located. Think of it this way. Your ICP defines the perfect pond you should be fishing in. It stops you from wasting time in waters where there are no fish for you.
Okay, so once your ICP has pointed you to the right pond, personas come into play. They define the specific people you need to find within those perfect companies. To stick with the analogy, these are the actual fish you're trying to catch. And listen, each one needs a different kind of bait.
So you found the right companies to target. Now, who are the key players inside that you need to know? Well, here's the good news. You do not need to create a dozen different super complex profiles. In fact, that usually just makes things more confusing.
Seriously, to be incredibly effective, you can build your entire strategy around just 3 fundamental personas. These 3 roles show up in almost every single B2B buying decision. And simplifying down to these 3 brings so much clarity to what you're doing. First up, we've got the user. This is your boots-on-the-ground person, the one who will actually be using your product every day. Now here's the key insight. You're not really selling to them, you're empowering them. Your goal is to show them how your solution makes their job easier, makes them look good, and turns them into an internal hero who champions your product for you. Next up is the supervisor. Now this is usually your main buyer, your primary point of contact. They're kind of caught in the middle, right? They've got the user telling them what the team needs, but they also have to justify the purchase to the business. For them, it's all about team productivity and, most importantly, return on investment.
And finally, there's the executive. This person usually swoops in late in the game to give that final yes or no. They don't care about the day-to-day features. They care about the big picture. They're asking, how does this align with our overall strategy? What's the big picture financial impact? And how do we make sure this isn't a risky bet?
So, your outreach should follow a really clear path. You start with the user. Talk to them, learn from them, and turn them into an advocate. Then, you take what you learned and build a rock-solid business case for the supervisor. And finally, you give that supervisor everything they need to go sell your solution internally to the executive. You empower them to be your champion. But look, knowing who to talk to is amazing. It's a huge step, but it's only half the battle. If you don't know what to say to each of these people, it's all for nothing. Your message has to be perfectly tuned to what each persona actually cares about. This framework right here, this is your messaging cheat sheet. For every single persona, you have to answer 3 questions. Why should they change? Why should they choose you? And why should they do it now? And as you can see, the answers are wildly different. The user's pain is about their tedious daily tasks. The executive's pain, it's about losing market share to a competitor. Same product, totally different message. Okay, you ready to take this to the next level? To make your message truly, deeply resonate, we need to look past even their job titles and their pain points. We need to understand a much deeper motivation. This is a classic quote, and it perfectly gets to the heart of this powerful idea called jobs to be done.
And the concept is really simple. Your customers aren't actually buying your product. They are hiring your product to get a specific job done.
When you understand your customer's job, it totally changes your perspective. You shift from talking about features to talking about outcomes. For example, a project manager's job isn't to use project management software. No way. Their job is to successfully launch a new product on time and under budget. When you position your solution as the best way to get that job done, your message becomes 1,000 times more powerful.
So what's the point of all this work? Defining ICPs, building personas, crafting messages, why bother? The payoff is huge. When you move from that spray and pray guesswork to this kind of focused approach, your results don't just get better, they become predictable.
I mean, just look at the data on outreach. When you send personalized messages that are aligned to a specific buyer persona, you can see reply rates jump by a massive 63%. That means more conversations, more opportunities, and way less wasted time.
And it's not just about getting more replies. It's about closing deals faster. Companies that really lean into this persona-driven approach report shortening their sales cycles by as much as 36%. They're not just winning more deals, they're winning them more efficiently.
And maybe this is the most important part. You don't just generate more leads, you generate better leads. Teams that use well-defined personas generate 56% more high-quality leads. And that is the absolute key to building a pipeline that's healthy and scalable.
So let's just end on this one thought. You might know their job title, you might know their company, but do you really truly know what job they are trying to hire your solution to do? Because answering that question, that is the unlock. That's the difference between just selling a product and actually providing a solution that leads to repeatable, scalable growth.